Great Grand Rising, everyone. Great Grand Rising. I just want to do this quick video. Um, this event in Washington, D.C. was for Flint. It was called the Great Millennials, and we were giving out lots of awards tonight. But one of the things that I know is that as the awards are giving out, there's still a lot to be done in a lot of the communities around the country. And it's great to receive a lot of these different awards and stuff like that. It's great to do a lot of these different things, but the most important thing is to remember that as people are getting the awards, the work still is not done. See you, Great Grand Rising. It's important for us to remember that no matter how many awards you may get and how many accolades this system may give you, our people are still dying from lead poisoning. Our people are still being shot on the streets. Our people are still being killed by the hokey pokey, as they would say. And they're letting a lot more people in this country than they ever have done before. Remember, up into the 1960s, there were barely any Africans or any migrations from anywhere across the globe coming into the United States. Now, it is insane. And the most insane thing about it is that the indigenous population of the Americas is actually really suffering. Because the more people that they let in, the more people suffer. So I do want to give a great shout out to the people up there in Flint. We're doing everything that we can through the Americas, Nation State. And we have a lot of things going. I don't mention a lot of stuff here on this channel because they're very intricate. They're very, how can I say, they're very international. And a lot of things are going, a lot of things are positive. So one of the things we have to really understand is that we are in a situation now where we should have been organized. Kalia, Halito, Great Grand Rising, CEO, every single one of you. Love you all. Love you all and everything that you guys have been doing. So one of the things I really want to really tell you now is that, you know, the event that I just attended now and spoke with the head of the EPA. He's the first black person who was ever sworn in the EPA. That means a lot, and it means really nothing. You know, it all depends upon what's going to get done. Will help our people. That's the only thing that you really need to know. But we, as a people, have to really, when I say organize, as a collective, it's too late now in the game to actually organize fully as a collective. There's a lot of people out there who are wearing preacher shirts, who are wearing all kinds of other different types of shirts that now have feathers in their heads. And you can't organize with these people because these people are all about money, all about grants. And anyone coming to you with a 501c3, it's already done. So if they're saying 501c3, you're already done. Or already finished. They can't do anything for you. They can't even speak on your behalf. Anyone who's owning a 501c3, has a 501c3, cannot do a damn thing for you, excuse my language. They can't even, you know, that's why, you know, the reason why you don't hear from Black Lives Matter, I mean, you don't hear from Black Lives Matter for a lot of reasons, but they're 501c3. Anytime that anything's a 501c3, like 99% of these churches, they cannot do anything political. They can't talk about anything. Right? Can't talk about anything. So that's why you hear that's why a lot of the black community, quote unquote, black community, indigenous community, are quiet. Because if they speak out, they're owned by the government and the government will cut off their funds. So they're owned by the government. So most of your indigenous organizations, supposedly indigenous, American Indians, whatever, that are 501c3s are owned by the government. So they're not with you. As you know me, a New Thunder, I am all about the right of return. I am about decolonization. I am not about reparations. I'm about restoration. And, you know, as we look at all these different grants and stuff like that going into Flint, going into a lot of these different areas, there are only a certain amount of companies, and most of these companies are not companies that look like you, that are giving out the money. So when we celebrate, we have to make sure that we understand that we're celebrating something that is really not about us. Just about the opportunity that we was given to make some cash, put some cash in our pocket, and then we're able to celebrate like them. But most of our celebrations are done in the emergency rooms, the morgue, funeral homes. Most of our family get-togethers are done that way as well. I'm not saying that there's not a lot of black people in the country that are doing well. I mean, a lot of people are doing well. But as you hear the sirens in back of me, that's just another way of understanding that there's a lot more way to go. And when we're in this new MOVID situation, you know what I mean by MOVID situation, the hokey pokey, the shot, the jab. You get a lot of these people who own the 501c3s who are telling you to do something that may not be too good for your own system. So, as I'm out here doing everything that I can, I'm out here with other people from the Coosa Nation, meeting with people, trying to get things together, trying to find out exactly where they're going, meeting with the federal EPA. And when we're meeting with them, not as a 501c3, but as a nation state, something that is independent of the United States, period. As I explained to people a long time ago, you cannot do things as a part of the United States. We are and have to be considered and look at ourselves as a separate nation that is reuniting, reestablishing ourselves within the boundaries of North America or the Americas, reestablishing what we came out of. We are returning. And this is what it means by the right of return. This is important. The right of return. The right of return doesn't mean to be a nigga over there somewhere laying around trying to get 501c3 money and trying to, start up some sort of church and hallelujah, amen, Jesus Christ, and all this other type of stuff. I'm not blaming with you if that's what you're into. That's what you're into. God bless you. Whatever. Whatever your God is, may God bless you. But I'm just saying that when you are doing the right of return, and I want you to begin to start talking to people about this, because the right of return means the right of return into the system upon which you came out of before they came. Into the system you came out of before they came. My family, part of my family migrated from Panama back in the late 1700s, early 1800s. They made their way from the wars from Panama all the way up into the Carolinas and then up into New York. My other part of my family was part of what you now call part of the Cherokee Nation, but not the Native American Cherokee Nation, but the real nations that were part of the Powhatan Confederacy. So I'm talking about returning back into what we are, what we were before they came. Who were they? Maybe people say, the white people. No, not the white people. Most of these white people just got here. I hate to say that. I'm saying that live. Most of them just got here. That's the reason why I talk about the orphan trains. But I'm talking about a lot of those people who came over here who were of Moorish nature. Some of these people who are considered to be Hebrew in nature. I'm just going to be real with you, who came over here to steal our gold, collect our money and our resources to bring it back so they can finish warring against the people that they created and they lost control of. Ultimately, they lost all control over in 1492. They were being kicked out of Europe all over the place. And that's when they began to start turning into the Huguenots. So this is the reason why, when I tell you that co-creation communities are very important. Co-creation communities are the lifeblood of the right of return. I want you really to go and take a look at all of the series that I have here on YouTube. I also put them on the Patreon so they don't get deleted, about what it is meant for decolonization And then I also want you to take a look at the videos that I did. I did lectures, 9 or 10 lectures on what you would call the PayPal ball. Doctrine of discovery, discovery of the doctrine, doctrine of discovery, discovery doctrine. It's extremely important for you to take a listen to all these things, because this is the history that you need to understand in order for you to understand about the right of return and where you're coming out of. I'll start to have a little bit more information about the mud floods and what happened, because I'm believing what happened with these mud floods is that after this great war, there was a shaking, a violent shaking of the earth that created these mud floods, that created an opening or an opportunity for certain other people to take advantage of what we have built all across this plane. When I say this plane, all across this so-called earth. We as a being of people need to understand who and what we are. What we are original indigenous beings with a spark, a soul, a being of light within inside. And when you look up into the sky, and everybody's looking up into the sky now, you start looking up to the sky, you start seeing the moon and the sun out at the same time. You're starting to see a whole bunch of things streaking across the sky. Nobody knows exactly what they are. Look at all the videos. You're starting to find out that the UV radiation is out of control. And there's reasons for that, because just like back when we're having the main wars, what's happening now is that we entered out of a Pisces into Aquarius, and what is going on is that there is a changing from the carbon 12 to the carbon 7, and anything that's artificial on this planet will not survive. And if you are artificial, you won't survive either. This is the reason why co-creation communities are so important. This is the reason why when you take a look at some of these videos that I put out there, look at a lot of other different things that are going on in the video as well, because it's telling you a story that I can't speak about on YouTube. So this is the reason why I'm going to start doing a lot more lectures on Patreon, so then that way you'll be able to get an understanding of what's happening and be able to speak freely, and you'll have an understanding of what's going on, because the right of return is happening right now. The right of return is happening right now. And you need to be a part of it. Your family needs to be a part of it. And if you got into the co-creation mindset already, you have a safe haven and a place to go. You don't have to worry about a whole bunch of things that are going on right now. Now, every federal employee right now has to be able to take this jab, right? Hopefully, maybe the Republicans, and this is the big thing that I'm getting ready to say. A big thing. Hopefully, the MAGA people or the Republicans, whatever, will be getting these lawsuits because they have the resources to put a hold on a lot of these things until we're able to really get into our co-creation communities and be able to sustain ourselves. So that's the reason why when I came out with the economic program of economics, security, economics without government help, meaning that we as a nation of people on our own land, occupied by outside forces, are able to sustain ourselves without the enemy's help. And we're going to have to learn how to be able to do that. That's real economics. A lot of what these people are doing, they're doing banana republic economics, meaning that they need money coming in from the enemy in order for them to be able to be sustainable. So this is what reparations is all about, giving you a check. That's what welfare is all about, giving you a check. That check may be there, may not be there. Giving you certain rights. They give you certain rights. You have inalienable rights of being a being, a superiority on this earth. You're a superior on this earth. You are superior on this earth. No law anywhere can give you any rights or anything because you already have it. This is why it is important for us to begin the co-creation community mindset. Within what you will call the Americus right now, CUSA, there is a nationwide educational program that has already been developed, and they're building schools. Within the Americusa CUSA nation, We now have a mental health service that is helping hundreds of people all around this country to deal with all of the mental elements that's happening all over the place. I'm talking about real services for real people, and this is what's happening, and we're doing it on our own. We are now setting up the embassy in order for you to be able to come through as a right of return, coming out of one system into another. Don't ever give up your birth certificate, your social security card, or any citizenship. We are in transition right now. We are in transition. And that transition is transitioning back into the people who we naturally are. We are not Africans. We're not Native Americans. See, a lot of these indigenous people pick up the Native Americans. Now, the Native Americans, what did they get all their Native American stuff from? They got it from the indigenous people. Right? So a lot of these buildings that you see that's in back of me, it's night now, but a lot of these buildings that you see in back of me and also in the Washington Capitol, from what I'm understanding from the mud floods, a lot of these buildings that they repurposed were already here for hundreds and hundreds of years before they even got here. They're indigenous buildings. They're our buildings. We built them. Any building that you see that looks Romanesque on the planet, they are indigenous buildings. They were here before any of them ever got here. And this is the reason why the Moors, this is the reason why some of the Hebrews, I'm not saying all Hebrews, because there are a lot of Hebrews, there are a lot of real indigenous Hebrews, Mayo and a lot of those other guys who talk a lot of the truth, right? There's another guy out there named I.N.N.A who puts out a whole lot of great information. There's a lot of real Hebrews that are out there that are giving you the real truth, not the Johnny-come-latelys. So it's important for you to understand who and what you are, and what these things that we are doing right now as we are sending ambassadors to the system to represent our people. See, right now, the reason why we need ambassadors is because in the right of return, we are separate and apart from the United States, but the United States is occupying the people that are on our land. So this is the reason why we as beings of people have to do what we need to do. Now, this is a very serious video, right? I got a lot out of the, tracking down where we came from as beings of people. I know a lot about that now, right? There's a lot of other people that are doing that, so I don't have to get into that. I'm more in the political and resetting up our political system so that we are able to govern ourselves, because the majority of people in the United States that look like us have no idea what it even feels like to be in the government of ourselves. Some people don't know what it feels like to be happy every single day and not walk around worrying about being slaughtered, killed, or jabbed up with something that's going to convert them into something that they may not even be human anymore. A lot of people don't even know what it feels like to walk around not feeling hunger, or not feeling the pain of going to work and not knowing what kind of treatment they're going to be getting. A lot of people don't even know what it feels like to be able to be at peace every single day. So they go out and they party hard on Friday, party hard on Saturday, party hard on Sunday, and then they got to try to recover Sunday night because they're trying to escape from the tyranny of this whole entire system. A lot of people don't even know what it feels like to really actually be free in their own system. And that's the reason why the right of return to the Amari Kusa, to the Ganashagawa, to the Great Law of Peace is so very important. I know you got the NAACP, I know you got the Urban League, the Black Caucus, and all this other type of stuff, but that's in their system. That was developed for their system. What we're doing is we're sending embassies, we're sending ambassadors into their system to represent us. Right? We're not begging for anything because we don't have to. We're not begging for reparations. Reparations is a farce. Anytime somebody comes to you and is talking about reparations, you got to look at them in pity. We're not looking for handouts. They have a responsibility of restoration. So because you didn't know who you were, you thought you were an African living on a land that was foreign to you. You didn't realize that you were an American living in a land that is yours. And they came here and destroyed everything, took everything, and wreaked havoc on our land, including the Anunnaki, including all those lizard people. They came here and chopped off the mountains. They came here and mined our fields. They came here and stole our gold. And then they use a blueprint of us to create the black-headed ones. And then those messed up black-headed ones, as a renegade priesthood, ran out and created the Tamahu. And I have absolutely no idea where the orphan train kids came from, because it's crazy. But there's also, the more stuff goes on with this creation stuff. So what we're going to do now is practice the right of return. And we're going to celebrate the beings that we truly are. And you need to celebrate the beings that you are. You are wonderful, beautiful, great, and there is nothing bad about you. Nothing bad about your genetics, nothing bad about your genes, nothing bad about the way you look, your skin color. Copper-colored people is what we are. We're from the very dark to the very shiny. My brother was very shiny. My sister was very shiny. And then I have my daughters who's very, very, very bronze, burnt bronze. Ethiopia. Africa wasn't called Africa. Africa was called Africa because that's where a part of some of those Tamahu came from. That's where they were created. They were created as Africans. That's why you have African Scipio, whatever that guy's name was. He was African because that's what they were called. Right? That's what they were called, Africa. We were called Ethiopians. And there was 3 different Ethiopias. There was an Ethiopia of what you now call Africa. There was another Ethiopia of what you now call India. And then there was a 3rd Ethiopia where the sun never sets. And that was in the Americas. That was us. So I'm going to say, rise, great grand rising to all of us. I love you. May you and your family be blessed. And all I want is nothing but goodness for you. Greatness for you. It is wonderful for everything that you have done. And I feel good this day. I feel good because I feel that we are going to be able to do things that are great, and we are doing things that are great. And everybody is great, just like you are. Great grand rising to us all.